In today's class, we're going to have the next practice set of relative clause. So here your first exercise is fill in the blanks with the appropriate relative clause. Before solving the exercise, I want to explain the chapter relative clause. So let us begin. The definition of relative clause is given here, that the clause relative clause is a subordinate clause that gives us information about the person or the thing we are talking about in the main clause. Okay, relative clause is a type of subordinate clause. Clear? Always gives specific information about the person or the thing that we are talking about in the main clause. Okay, it always gives the information about the main clause. Okay, about the person or the thing which is already given in main clause, and it is a type of subordinate clause. Okay, it defines or identifies the noun that comes before it. Relative clause always identifies or defines the noun which whom it modifies. Okay, how? Let us see example. With the help of that we will understand. She loves the bag which her mother had gifted her. Okay, so the word which, you know that it is started with which. So from here to the last, which her mother had gifted her, that is a subordinate clause. Okay, and this clause is a main clause. On the basis of definition, I told you that it always modify the noun or the person or the thing which it modifies. See how this relative clause is giving information about the main clause. Okay, she loves the bag. So when we are talking about this sentence, so the person she, which is subject, loves the bag. So here we are talking about the bag. What types of bag? So the bag which her mother had gifted her, so the same bag which was gifted by her mother, she loved especially that bag. So that is why the specific information, relative clause, is always gives the specific information about the person or the thing which is given in the main clause, and this is main clause here. And as it is started with which, so we understand that from here to here it is subordinate clause that is beginning with relative pronoun. Okay, now let us see. I hope that this exercise is clear to you. Something more is given about it, that a relative clause is introduced by a relative pronoun. A clause that is always introduced by relative pronoun like who, which, what, whose, whom, and that. So where there is these words who, which, what, whom, whose, whom, and that, these are relative pronoun. And also it is somewhere introduced by relative adverb. What types of relative adverb? Like why, when, and where. So there are two things with the help of that it is always introduced the subordinate clause, relative pronoun and relative adverb. Relative pronoun, that is what, who, which, what, etc., and relative adverb, that is what, why, which, why, when, and where. And it is a type of adjective clause also. Well, why? Because there is who, which, so that is why it is a type of adjective clause as well. So let us see exercise A. The dog dash owner had abandoned him has found in new home. So we are talking about the dog. Okay, the dog, and then after the word whose is to be used here, because the word whose is giving the specific information about the dog. So the dog whose owner had abandoned him has found in new home. Number 2, have you collected the classmates whom you want to invite for your birthday? Clear? Third is the coffee shop where my parents had met still exists. This is the shop which I was telling about you, and the little girl who was gifted a piano is thrilled. So everywhere you can see that how the uses of which, whom, whose is used in this clause. Now let us go ahead. Uses of relative pronoun and adverbs in relative clauses. So what is the uses of relative pronoun and relative adverb we are going to say? So the first word who. Who is a relative clause. We use who in a relative clause when we are talking about a person, not a thing. Okay, so who is always used for person, not a thing. So we have to remember that when we are talking about a person, we have to use only who. A man who was helping the fishermen anchored their boat, rescued the drowned child. So this is talking about the man, and man is what? a person. That is why who is used. Next is which and that. We use which and that in a relative clause when we refer to a thing instead of a person. So opposite of who, we use which for a thing. Okay, I am looking for the book which was kept on the table, or we can see that was kept on the table. Okay, but which is completely suitable for non-living thing. Next is what. We sometimes use what instead of that. So on the place of that, we sometimes use what as a relative pronoun. Okay, I apologize for what I said earlier. What I said, that I said. We can say also, we can also say that I said, but here what is suitable. So on the place of that, we can use what also. Okay, after that, just wait. After that which I had said earlier. So I apologize for what that I had already said. Okay, next exercise, next example. We must be particular about what we wear to the formal dinner. It means that which we wear to the formal dinner, we had to be particular about that thing. So what can be used in the place of that had been already done. Now let us talk about whose. So we use whose to show possession. When we have to show possession, we use it. Okay, and after that it is used in the place of his, her, or their. So these things can be used on the place of his, her, and their, and it is always followed by a noun. See how. The principal spoke to the lady whose son had been injured. Okay, whose son. So whose is somewhere referring to that lady. Okay, clear. Now the next is whom. Whom is used to a noun or pronoun which acts as an object in a sentence. It is used in the place of him, her, or them. Whom is used in a place of him, her, and them. Okay, it is used as an object in a sentence, not subject. So the doctor whom we want to consult is performing an emergency operation. So the doctor, for doctor whom word is used here. Clear. The stranger to whom we gave the parcel has disappeared mysteriously. So again this word whom is used for him. Who is him? The stranger. Clear. Where. A relative clause must be introduced by the relative adverb like when, where, why to talk about time, place, and reason. So when we have to talk about time, we use when. When we have to talk about place, we use where, and for reason, what we use? Why. Clear? These are the explanation of this thing that I already explained. Let us go ahead. Again, it's giving defining or non-defining relative clause. What is defining and non-defining? That is also very good. So our defining a relative clause gives us essential information about the noun we are talking about. Okay, defining a relative clause is a clause that gives us essential information about the noun that we are talking about. Okay, it is the clause on which the sentence depend for completing its main clause. That only the clause, that is what, on which the sentence depends for its meaning. Okay, changing the clause changes the meaning, the sentence completely. So that is why it is somewhere dependent on that sentence. See, a defining relative clause usually comes immediately after the noun. See how. We wish to live in a place which is not too far away for the sea. So we are talking about the place. So the place which is not too far. Okay, that is why it is immediately come after the noun. So see that this defining clause is somewhere defining the word place. Okay, defining the noun which is just after that it is used. See that the word place, after just use, it is used defining clause. It means this clause is somewhere defining this particular clause. Why it is depending on that which is too far. If you are going to hide that, see, if you are going to hide this one, this clause, if you will hide this, so what is the meaning of this clause? Which is too far from the sea, which is too far. So it means that something is hidden here. Okay, so that is why it is somewhere dependent for the sentence for its a complete meaning. We'll see the next one. I bought the book that was recommended by our chemistry teacher. So again the book is noun, and defining clause, it is that was recommended. So what was recommended? The book was recommended by our chemistry teacher. After that, non-defining relative clause. The a non-defining relative clause gives us extra information about a person, or it is giving the extra information. It is already the person or the thing is somewhere, we are somewhere familiar about the person or the thing already. We already know which person or thing is being referred to, and the sentence continues to make the sense without it. Just opposite of defining clause. Non-defining, it means we are already known about the person or thing that they are talking about. It is giving the additional information about that. Additional information, not extra, not a specific information. Additional, something more is to be giving by this non-defining. That is what is non-defining. Okay. I am going to meet Sanjay, who helped me with the hotel booking. Who helped me? Who? Sanjay is already given. So we are already familiar with the name Sanjay, the person Sanjay who only helped me in booking hotels. Okay. She is placing her orders with big grocers which sells. Again, you will see that it is somewhere defining by and separated by comma as well. Okay. Now let us see the next exercise. Complete the sentences using relative clause, then identify them as definite or non-definite. So that only you have to find out here. The television which ... I bought recently has malfunctions. Now see, it is somewhere defining clause. Okay, because the television which, it is not giving extra information. It is giving a specific what types of television which I had recently manufactured. Okay. Now Lalita, whose father is in the army, is training as a fighter pilot. Non-defining, you can see that after Lalita there is a comma, separation. Okay, there is separation. So already Lalita is given, and Lalita's father's information is the additional information for her. Okay. Now the next is, I am looking for the lady who. After who, what can be used? You will do by your own. My grandfather, who is, do by your own the laptop. So after that, what is to be used? On the basis of the explanation, please use. Next exercise, correct the errors in the use of relative pronoun and adverbs in the following sentences, then underline the relative clauses. This story is about the journey, that is journey, okay, that I went on when I turned 18. So that is used for that journey. Number 2, the New Zealand is the country where I want to live in. I grew up. See, adverb of place is used here. So adverb of place talking about where, no, just I explained you. And after that, Arpit is the friend. Then after this is the person. This is the same thing. You just follow these things by your own, please. Now let us have a quick revision of the chapter what we had explained today. That the relative clause is a subordinate clause which defines person, thing, and we are talking about in the main clause, and it defines that which defines or identify that which comes before it. After that, a relative pronoun whom, which, and that can be omitted when they are not as a subject of the class. So these words can be omitted when they are not in the subject of the clause. The defining relative clause gives us essential information about the noun we are talking about, and the non-defining relative clause gives us extra information. So essential information and extra information, take care of these two words about a person or the thing that does not affect the meaning of the sentence. So students, here we are going to finish. I hope that this explanation will help you in solving all the exercises of your chapter. So if you have any doubt, you can please ask me. In the next class, we'll be talking about the next chapter. We will have the explanation of that one. So till that time, thank you so much.